I wish good things to you who's watching this. I am Alexey and this is round 5 of the 2025 Carcassonne Champions League, where in Group C, Easttung of Hong Kong will be fighting against Matt Tucker, the 2023 world champion with the screen name statmatt, for the second place in Group C. In fact, the player from Hong Kong cannot realistically make it to second place. No, wait, they can't. Yeah, no, they cannot. They cannot. So look at this. If they win 2-0, then they, of course, will have the same number of matches won as Matt, but their tiebreaker would be just 1 unit below what Matt is. But this does not mean that they don't need to win this match. Because if they don't win this match, then any of these 3 other guys, well, actually, these 2 guys, well, this guy in particular, can threaten their 3rd place. So, in fact, if easttung loses today and Brian Townsend wins, then Brian will, in fact, qualify. So today, not only British fans will be rooting for Matt, but also anybody from Chile will be rooting for Matt as well, just to give the countryman a chance. So that's the tournament situation. And the game has started a couple of minutes ago, but knowing the tempo of the players, probably 2 tiles have been played at most. Try 22. So Matt with the yellow meeples, currently rated 620, easttung with a solid 627. Still, I would give the world champion, the former world champion, the label of the favorite in this match. But this position actually does not look great for yellow. So first of all, 12 points down on the scoreboard. Not great. Monastery blocked, road blocked, city blocked. Really, really not great. Now, all these meeples, of course, will give points to yellow in the end of the game. The monastery will be 8, the road may be 6, 7 when it grows, maybe even more. This ruin, solid 10, 12, something like this, so it's actually not that bad, but 3 meeples are a bit too many to have blocked, and typically if you're going to play a position with blocked meeples, then you need a bit of a buffer on the scoreboard to make the position balanced. Now, minus 12, this is really, really not a great position to be in. But let's have a look at some saving graces for yellow. First of all, red has also a couple of meeples sort of kind of blocked. So this guy is waiting for a coin flip for the quadruple crossroads tile. And this is something that yellow should hope for. This guy, also now severely restricted with only 2 of the right-handed dagger tiles remaining in the deck that fit there. This guy, not particularly in danger just yet, but it is a bit awkwardly placed, and 2 out of the 3 horse tiles have gone out, so there's really not a great way to end that road, and in the meantime, Matt could build over here, and over here. In the meantime, red just keeps his blocking onslaught, finding a really nice move here, leaving only 1 tile that fits into this square. Matt, of course, could get something like a Dorito tile, and then another Dorito tile, and then a horse tile, and maybe even finish the city for 10 points, and meeple this road, and so on and so on. But all of this is far-fetched. And he doesn't even have a city tile to defend, but he has actually quite a wonderful tile. Let's see if he finds the best move in this position, which is pretty clear for most expert players. Well, there are 2 good moves. The one that I'm thinking is going over here for 5 points, prolonging his previous monastery, supporting his road, also making it harder for yellow to block his meeple permanently. And what this move would do, it would set up a defense move with a Dorito tile. So in fact, this move just does everything. There is, however, 1 more monastery placement which yellow is contemplating, and that's one's over here. It supports his city. It controls red city as well. And normally, in some positions, the second spot might even be preferable. But when you're this down on meeples, you really don't want to even go here. You probably want to build the city up with big tiles like this, then put pressure on this square from here, put pressure on this road from here. So the monastery here does not really help that much. And yes, of course, if we go here and then we ultimately block this red guy over here, then we enter in a winning mini battle. But it's not enough. It would be better to just block this meeple purely. So Matt, in fact, does go for the monastery, but does not meeple, which I think has to be a mistake. This monastery is about as safe as it gets. It controls 3 lucrative squares. I'm not sure exactly what the British player here is afraid of. Well, maybe they didn't quite visualize how exactly they're going to finish that monastery. Maybe there is a different reason, which we don't know, but I do think that a meeple there was pretty important. Hi Ludo, hi Helik, hi Glavir, hi Kaika, hi Agatha. I see mostly fans of Hong Kong here. Yeah, and look at this. Matt gets his magical tile soon enough. And okay, now I see the idea why he didn't want to place a meeple here, because easttung gonna go here and now block this square and block Matt's city nevertheless. And then of course, had Matt listened to me, he would have had his monastery blocked as well. I still maintain that it was a good try with the monastery, because sometimes what you can do as yellow here is you just get a curve, you sacrifice your meeple here, and then you just finish your 9-point monastery. And we're generally short on city plus road tiles, so it was actually quite unfortunate for yellow that red was able to draw this tile too soon. Yeah, so actually ideally what yellow wanted to do is, first of all, yellow wanted to draw a cover-up tile like this, and only then draw the horse tile. It's a very interesting situation with these pairs of blocked meeples, when you need not a tile, but a tile combo or multiple tile combos. It really matters in which order you draw them, not just which tiles you draw. Well, now officially yellow has lost 1 more meeple, and they're going to be stuck here at 4 points. But easttung was forced to spend a good tile for blocking. His city at the bottom is now dangerous. Although this Matt's move here is not something that I like one bit. I'll explain that a little bit later. easttung trying to attack Matt's road. And now we can see the problem with this move. So red, of course, yellow, of course, intended to make this square sensitive and then maybe draw some sort of blocking tile, fully blocking the square. But this move, even though it gives yellow some tiles that can fit over here for blocking, it actually protects the city a little bit more. There was a similar situation that occurred earlier this week in the match between Koki Yamaguchi and yours truly. So in those situations where your opponent needs this sort of tile, it's actually better to not put anything here, but to wait for a road tile. And we can see that Matt, by starting a new city, took away his own blocking square. So he could have used a straight line over here, or a curve over here for Sophie's choice block, but it didn't work. And now, of course, Matt's going to finish his city, which he has to. And now we see the problem. Now these 2 squares are perfectly secure. There are only 2 blocking tiles in the entire deck. Well, just the starting tile, really. But there are 2 of those remaining. And it is actually super easy to cover up the square. So we can either get a city cap plus city cap combo with 4 city caps remaining. Or as yellow, we can draw Dorito plus Dorito, which is a bit harder because there are only 2 Doritos remaining. But we can also draw city cap plus Dorito and then something over here. So this city over here is actually not that easy to block anymore. There's quite an instructive moment where it seemed like yellow was restricting the city by starting the city of his own at the top, but in fact, it made the square a little bit safer. In the meantime, of course, one of the key dagger tiles was drawn by easttung, to rub it in, he's not only completing a 4-point road, but also starting a 4-point road of his own, to the delight of all the fans of Hong Kong. Really difficult position here for yellow, not so much because of a meeples, but simply because of the scoreboard. So if the score were 0-0, then I actually probably prefer yellow in this position, because yellow has points for his blocked stuff, whereas red does not really have a lot of points. But now also red has a lot of threats. There's still this one tile remaining that can get him a meeple back. He can get a curve here, 4 points more for the road, then drop a 6-point farmer and develop a nice field with lots of green squares and 6 points already on it. And it's just quite difficult for yellow to contest that field, given his meeple scarcity. But now an inconsequential straight line for easttung, who chooses to meeple a 6-point field, which I think is a bit of a mistake, actually. Or an imprecision at the very least, because if you're having a meeple advantage, then you kind of want to hold on for it a bit longer. And we can see that the field now grows as a result of red drawing his key coin flip tile, which now gives him the meeple majority back. But from red's perspective, they really should be trying to win even if they don't draw that tile. But now red with a farm doesn't have a lot of green squares, but maybe these 6 points are just fine as they are. Also notice there's a cheeky curve plus straight line combo available that would give more green squares to red, and adding this here city cap into the field as well. In the meantime, Matt is building up his city and monastery, making it harder for red to complete this road, but I wonder if this sort of block is even in Matt's interest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, actually, regardless of how you turn this tile, it is a severe restriction because there are just not many curvy tiles remaining at all. In any case, a lot of points on the board for yellow. And if he gets a couple more quick points, there are some chances in this game. But now look at this. The Dorito plus Dorito combo is coming for easttung. And if he just goes over here, he can give himself a 50-50 shot at this Dorito, plus quite an easy city cap. Quite a potent move from red. There's some other patterns available. This move is also pretty interesting. It requires still 3 more tiles to threaten the completion of that city, but it allows for more combinations. Instead, he also makes an interesting move, which also requires 3 tiles, but all 3 of them are city caps. Well, maybe a Dorito plus Dorito combo could also work. Probably my favorite move there is to go for a 50-50 for a variety of reasons. Well, first of all, even a 50% chance is annoying enough to deal with. And the second point is a bit more subtle. It's kind of has to do with the potential uses of other tiles for red in other parts of the board. In the meantime, Matt successfully finishes his monastery, also gives a meeple back to easttung as well, but he drops a farmer for 6 points, a strong move from the Brit, now looking to take advantage of the fact that his field has more green squares than red's, and just try to drop a lot of city caps there. So still, despite everything, there are paths to victory for the play with the yellow meeples. Exactly, Agatha. Finishing the monastery is better for Matt indeed. So maybe this move could have been simply postponing the decision about who gets to finish the monastery, and also simply getting 1 extra city point as a result of the monastery completion. This orientation of the tile also could be baiting in his opponent to invade the city. Now, normally, of course, as yellow, we would hate for yellow to try and invade our city, because then we would lose all those wonderful 12 points that we have. But then, since yellow is quite a lot behind, then maybe one of yellow's plans is to hope that red invades the city, and then somehow yellow draws a blocking sequence, trapping yellow's hypothetical city meeple here for just 1 or 2 points, and yellow's very much, and red's very much real road meeple for just 2 points. But it seems that Matt is going to forego this idea now, as easttung finds a lovely move, starting a new city, also taking away 2 green squares for Matt's field. So now this here square is pretty much the only saving grace of the player with the yellow meeples. And now not the easiest tile to play. So he could go over here and just cover up his city from invasions, which is exactly what he does. There were some other alternatives available, maybe going over here and sacrificing a point and then just breaking red's city. Because this city of red is actually kind of dangerous. There's still a lot of vanilla city caps that fit here. So ultimately this city is going to become a threat. In the meantime, red does not necessarily follow through with his field blocking plan. I would have loved a move like this from red. It's incredibly painful. But this move is also very strong. It serves 2 purposes. It sets up an attacking platform for Matt's ruin in case reds needs it. And it also sort of kind of blocks this green square. It wasn't a fully functional green square, but it was one where a vanilla city cap could still inflict some damage on the scoreboard. So a nice double purpose move here from the player with Hong Kong, who now gets a clunky looking tile, and Matt's trap works. He is going to invade the big city, it seems, because why else would he place the tile there? And this should make the British player really, really happy, because now he has a real chance. Ah, he thinks better of it. So no invasion. That's smart. That is smart. So I think the point of this move was simply to set up an invasion platform here in the future. So now let's say if easttung draws something like a Dorito of the road, he can go here and then try to invade through either of these 2 squares. This invasion, well, first of all, it only allows 1 invasion tile in the first place. Second, it's super easily blockable with something like the last starting tile. In fact, if a red meeple were placed over here, then Matt can easily draw something like a starting tile and then block both the road meeple and the city meeple at once and prevent the invasion and so on. So in the meantime, Matt gets himself, as I said, the 1 green square in the field that was available to try and build it up, decides to meeple the city because there's still plenty of city caps remaining, and it is worth indeed spending the last meeple. easttung does not even bother with threatening his city on the left, simply wants to score a little bit, get a meeple back, and then start putting pressure on this square. If Matt is not careful enough, then some sort of Dorito tile could go here and then block this meeple permanently. But then, is that such a big threat? With 17 tiles remaining, Matt needs to realize that the pool of unseen tiles is pretty unusual. So we know that there's this threat of going over here, right? And just completely blocking this square and tying this meeple to this, and so on. But actually in the entire deck, there was only 1 blocking tile available, the Dorito of the road, that would have fit over here. Still, Matt decides that even 1 blocking tile is way too dangerous. Plus, from his perspective, there are actually many, many tiles that fit here. So if even he restricts his meeple a little bit, he will be getting it back soon enough. In the meantime, red does continue his city. He threatens its completion, but a sigh of relief for our British fans, if there are any. If there are, do make yourself known in the chat. The reason why it's such a relief is because it is the last Dorito. And also because it gives yellow 3 points, and it's also all but blocks red's road. In fact, it permanently blocks red's road. There is nothing that fits into the square anymore. And it also makes it harder for easttung to invade this ruin. Not that he has to. In fact, the best move that I see here for red is just going over here, unifying the two roads, because there's still a couple of crossroads available in the deck, with which yellow could hypothetically go over here and get himself a meeple back. And this move would just simply prevent such an endeavor. So nice find here from easttung, and I think he's even considering a farmer. Oh, that's so smart. I would have loved a farmer there, actually. Even though it's only 3 points, there's still both road monasteries remaining, and it just prevents Matt from going over here and expanding his field way too easily. And because red has so many meeples, he can afford to sacrifice one, just not allowing Matt an easy field expansion. But in the meantime, a city completion is threatened, and lo and behold, Matt gets the road monastery, and now of course he's going to go over there. He's going to try and develop the field. He is probably going to meeple the monastery, although it is not an obvious choice. The problem with developing your field too much is the fact that you're giving back way too many invasion squares, and you might actually need to preserve another meeple in hand to fight for it. Of course, red is also threatening the completion of a big city over here, something that Matt could have broken a little bit earlier, but he will need to work on it again. Or maybe not. You know what? There are actually not many city caps remaining suddenly. So just a few moves ago, there were a bunch of vanilla tiles. Now there's only one vanilla tile on one of these guys. And it is not unreasonable for yellow to just hope that he's going to draw all of them. Hi, Lord Terrycloth. Hi, Ian. Hi, Wise Maze. Matt indeed goes for the monastery meeple, decides that he simply needs to score. I mean, this is a move that nets him 9 points. I mean, what else can you want? easttung, of course, drops a farmer, as he should. That farmer is actually incredibly dangerous, because it can invade here through a curve, or here through a road monastery or vanilla. So 4 invasion tiles available. And I wonder what you do as Matt. Do you drop a counter farmer over here straight away? Or do you try pretend that you're Dr. Taihan and go here, finish your opponent's city and drop a farmer? Is it time to do something crazy like this? I don't think it is. So this is a move which is super tempting, of course, but Matt is now thinking whether he should have scored the monastery. Now really wishes he were to have one more meeple for field fights. There's some other options available for him. He can simply score 4 points, and then after an invasion is complete by this guy, then maybe he can re-invade, although there are no easy platforms to do so. There are multiple platforms, of course, but all of them are either blockable or require point sacrifices on this square. Yeah, tricky situation for Matt. We also actually need to count up the points, because this rune is really big. It is 17, if I'm not mistaken, or something like this. Matt has 2 monasteries for 13. That's already 30. 34. 37. easttung is, of course, still ahead because of this. Yeah, look at this. Matt is dropping his last farmer, deciding that the field is just way too big. This platform is just way too good. And with only 8 tiles remaining, maybe he doesn't even need to score that much. That's actually a really smart move. Even though there are some scoring tiles available, such as the road monastery, which of course Matt would have loved to meeple over here, yellow has some other tasks that he can extract value. No. He has some other tasks that he needs to make. For example, go here, block these squares. And these moves also require tiles. So road monastery for Matt. Presumably he's going to go over here and complete... Oh no, okay, that's actually even better, yeah. He just gets himself the farmers. Easttung could consider invading, but I don't think there's really a point in that. There's still a threat of completing his city, which should be enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Almost. You know what I was thinking about? Actually, you know what? I'm still thinking about this. How about we go over here as the player with the red meeples and we sacrifice 1 point, but we give ourselves 1 tile which can make this red meeple enter the field. There are no straight lines remaining, but there's a starting tile. Again, so we go here, whoop, and then this guy makes it all the way into the field through here. And we know that yellow cannot drop any more meeples. So this, of course, would sacrifice a point, but it would create a threat which is not so easy to deal with. And we know that Matt also needs to block this square at some point. A move that you should never make, of course, as red, is going over here and dropping a farmer, because you really don't want to kill off your own city. Instead, red makes a rather inconsequential move. It is sort of kind of trying to block Matt's invasion, but it is almost impossible to do so, given the fact that Matt has 2 squares available to him. Although 1 curve is drawn by easttung. So now I wonder if Matt should have used this tile here instead. Also note that one of the city caps that was going to fit for this square has been drawn by Matt, and he could in theory draw another. Okay, a big tile for Matt. And not an obvious decision. So if he goes here, then of course he breaks all the all red cities, and I think he actually should do that because there are just way too many tiles available for red. But there's still a starting tile, I'm not mistaken, and there's still a vanilla tile. So there's still 2 city caps for red to finish the city. It's just like way too much. It is, of course, unfortunate to be spending a valuable tile on blocking, but what you gonna do? So there are 4 tiles available, and we know 3 of them. Starting tile, curve, and vanilla city cap. And I'm trying to figure out what the 4th tile could possibly be. Oh, the 4th tile is great news for Matt. It's a crossroads. So this is the pool of our unseen tiles. We have this. We have this. No. Let me draw it like, okay, so crossroads, starting tile, vanilla, and this guy. No, wait. What am I doing? Oh no, we just drew this guy. Curve. Yeah, there we go. This guy, of course, is here. So the block is successful. Now easttung presume is going to block Matt's farmer. How should he do it? Well, I guess he should go here, because there are 2 tiles that fit into this square, whereas there's only 1 tile that fits into this square. Or maybe there's another way. Maybe there's some sort of counter invasion. We could also ignore this move entirely, because we just need to count points and see how else we can win this game. Yeah, so a 3-pointer and a block. So Matt needs to get a curve, and he needs to get a curve right now, otherwise he loses, and he gets a curve, and an invasion is complete. A starting tile for easttung, which cannot score much, and since Matt has the vanilla, he'll be getting 3 extra points for this completed city in his field. The only question is that going to be enough for the former world champion to withstand the scoreboard pressure from easttung? Red does have quite a big ruin over here, and a little 6-point field, and 24 points on the scoreboard. Matt has a gigantic field, well, for this sort of position of 15 points, a gigantic ruin for any sort of position for 20 points, 2 monasteries for 16, a road for 3. It's gonna be close, and I purposely don't want to do any counting because it is more interesting that way. So if you're in the chat, don't spoil it. Don't spoil it. So a 3-pointer for easttung. That's the best that they can do with this tile. Matt only needs to find his move to score 3 points, which I'm pretty sure he does. So an 18-point field for yellow in the end. Lord Terrycloth is asking, why didn't he get 4? I didn't see where he could get 4 points. Oh, of course! Oh, a miss from easttung going here. And meepling a 3-point road like this. And look at the swindle, plus 10 for the world champion. A game which he had no business winning. Just managing to drop a farmer, connect at the last possible moment. If he were not to get that curve at that exact time, the next move of easttung would have been a complete block. Matt is asking for a 2-minute break, understandably. They gotta calm their nerves after this. And quite a heartbreak for all of our fans from Hong Kong to have lost this. Also note that this idea of going over here could have actually worked pretty nicely. Because I believe that Matt didn't draw a proper blocking tile, and then ultimately easttung drew a tile to invade here. So there was a way to share that field potentially and win a few more points like that. Tough to say what exactly went wrong for Red. Well, maybe just Red had to find opportunities to simply score more and just outrun Matt's field. There was also one other move available, I think. Remember earlier when he unified the roads? With 2 road monasteries available, this is actually where you should be dropping a farmer as Red. Because this allowed Matt just too easy of a scoring move. This move was plus 9. Yeah, I think that was it. It was a tricky find, because it's only a 3-point farmer, and I hate dropping 3-point farmers. But if Red were to just go over here, Matt's field would not have grown that big in the first place. And then instead of finishing a shared road, what he would have done, he probably would have just simply taken 2 points somewhere. And then this field would not have been such a big issue to deal with. So it's probably that. Even though, other than that, it's like really, really well played game. I was going to say by both players. Red managed to block a lot, but blocking costs points. And with 4 blocked meeples early in the game, Matt manages to pull off a swindle. Still, it is absolutely possible for easttung to come back, as they're playing really, really well. And they will be having a starting player advantage. The second game has now started. Now red with the starting player advantage scores 4 points for the city. Matt with a 2-point road. Easttung with a curve looking to start a new road. Chooses it at the top to start exerting some pressure on this square. Matt with a conservative move. Okay, it's not a conservative move. It's an early farmer. Just as he likes to. There were a couple of other moves available. I would have just taken another road, which is Matt's going to do now. Early in the game, you kind of want to take advantage of empty road ends. Don't not allow your opponents easy scoring opportunities. But instead, he just continues his road, which I don't think is the strongest move. It also gives back a monastery spot, which red's now happy to use. Yellow finishes a road, gets himself 5 points on the scoreboard, starts a new city. Red looking to continue his road and start a new city. This is the move that we expect. Also restricting yellow's fields quite a little bit. Overall, a really good position for the player with the red meeples now. Okay, now time to catch up with the chat a little bit. I see discussing some endgame imprecisions, which were inconsequential. All right, so let's focus our attention on this game. So, the move that I predicted came to pass simply because it's just easily the best equity move. Yellow tries to break red's city, and red very nicely covers up. So this move gives him 2 points. It also gives him a road end, and it also restricts yellow's field further. And I think yellow's now panicking a little bit. I don't think he's the strongest move in this position. It is making the position way too high variance. But maybe he's hoping that red does not know how to respond this, but red does. Red now has already 9 points for the city. This city barely has an access platform to it. And if red just finishes his road, especially if red finishes the road with the crossroads, that would really inbox Matt's field and make it problematic for him. Red still has a monastery spot here available, just in great position for easttung. He now successfully breaks the city, which I'm pretty sure yellow will take care of. There's a variety of ways to do that. My favorite one is to do something like this. So we start a new city at the bottom, and we just indirectly cover up one square, looking for a Dorito plus city cap combo. He goes for a more direct approach, which also makes a lot of sense. We're going to see an attempt to break one of the two cities soon enough. This was one of the two possible moves in this position. As we can see, it denies Matt an immediate city cap. But I have no doubt that yellow is just going to finish his city, get out of harm's way. This cap would also restrict this square. So now it is harder for red to place something over here and block this square. Case in point, this straight line no longer goes here. So just an example where the principle of two cities goes absolutely out the window just because finishing this city has so many positional benefits for yellow, who is currently ahead on the scoreboard. But it's a nice tile for red, and he finds the best move of getting himself 1 point and carrying on with that field restriction, also setting up himself another monastery. The one downside of the red's position is that yellow's field is not that well restricted. I'm going to talk more about this in just a second, but red now successfully invades yellow city just before yellow is going to complete it. And now a very interesting tile for yellow, what he's going to do. So there's, of course, this move available. It takes 2 points, it takes out a monastery spot, it's put pressure against this one, but the downside, it really plays further against the field, and it's quite easy to defend. And then if we go here and block this square, right, so yellow could just, no, red could just do this, finish another road, finish a monastery, leave this guy stranded with 6 points. So that's why Matt could also go here, meeple this 5-point road indirectly, put pressure on this square, and then try to finish himself a 5-point road, which also expand the field. And this is exactly what he does. But this will now run into some trouble. So this is a very interesting situation. This move, of course, is a great equity move. It takes 2 points. It obstructs this guy over here. But it exposes a very dangerous platform. But it's not obvious whether red is going to use it or not. So you see, if red goes over here and tries to invade the city and steal it away from Matt, he's just going to almost win the game on the spot if he's successful. But he decides against it because there are only 4 big tiles available, and the quadruple city tile has gone out, which gives yellow plenty of time. So imagine if red would have gone over here for the content move, which of course we all wish he would have done, then yellow can easily go over here and block this square, or at the very least restrict it to a 50-50 or something. But I wonder if this move was also a bit hasty. Red, given his fantastic position, could have considered some other options, just going over here, but instead of invading the city, simply taking 2 points. Because from red's perspective, knowing that yellow's a bit behind, it is possible for yellow to invade this square, or it is possible for yellow to simply draw the splitter, which, by the way, he now sets up with this move over here. But now red with a fantastic tile, and we can see the power of this move. He now can punish Matt's field so hard, and he can punish Matt's road meeple so hard. This is by far the best move available to him, and this was something that he was undoubtedly setting up. Matt, of course, gets a tile which bails his road meeple out at the very least, and now puts some pressure on this monastery. Not that it's some real pressure anyway. But as both players have exchanged quick points, look at the field, and look at the overall situation. This guy's at 8. Red's now going to go over here, start a new road, sets up an evil hamster, which benefits him. And this guy still needs to develop his farmer. Also nice 9-point ruin, some road for red as well, which is kind of safe. So I wonder if the choice for Matt here is to try some extreme aggression and go here. And not take the 3 points, but just start fighting for the city. This is a move that I expect from the former world champion. Because red has so many threats in this position, you know, like finishing the road is a threat, getting a road monastery is a threat. Getting a horse tile would also be quite devastating for yellow, because if red goes here with a horse tile, he gets to finish a 5-point road and just completely inbox yellow's field. Also know that this road is lovely, because it is difficult for yellow to obstruct it. The only way how yellow can start blocking this road is going over here with a curve, in which case this meeple is happy to be blocked, because whoop, then we would have a fully closed field. Yeah, so there's really nothing better that I see for Matt. I wonder if he's going to make some sort of blocking move, maybe going over here, hoping that there's only one tile remaining that fits into this square, but he's just down too many points. He cannot afford stuff like this. Hi, Sergey. And we have ourselves a town invasion, but immediately, no tension in this position, easttung gets himself an invasion tile soon enough. I still love Matt's idea here, because if easttung were to get something like a road tile, then it would have been quite difficult to deal with this threat. Only 1 point ahead on the scoreboard. Yellow continues his city at the bottom. He's now setting up a city cap and a farmer for 9 points. There are several ways of dealing with this. The most important part of Red's plan here is to just ignore this city for a while. So this city is nice with 9 points, and long term what we should do with this, or at least what I would recommend, is just not do much. And then, if we're behind, we can try threaten its completion. Red with an interesting move, just a bit of an imprecise realization. So he does drop a farmer in the anticipation of Matt going over here. I would have preferred turning this tile the other way, initially giving Matt more tiles to free up the meeple, but then setting up some further blocking opportunities. But now that I think about it, this is actually also fine. Note that all 3 giraffes have gone out, so yellow cannot easily continue his city. Yellow can get, of course, one of the 2 vertical splitters, and that will be quite painful because then yellow gets to take advantage of this shielded tile here and continue his city like this. But the worst tile for red would probably be yellow getting himself a triple city and then going like this and building a much larger city for himself. So I have no doubt that the plan of the player from Hong Kong. Also, by the way, is there like an adjective for Hong Kong? If somebody is from America, you say they're American. If somebody's from Ukraine, you say they're Ukrainian. If somebody from Hong Kong, are they Hong Kongian or something like this? If anybody knows, I would greatly appreciate wording advice. In the meantime, Matt with a shielded tile, looking to score some. One thing that we should not do is waste such a beautiful tile for a ruin invasion. We do want to go for a and just as I say it, I think, yeah, well, just as I say it, Matt does it. So now I'm going to try and justify this move. So given the fact that Matt has the meeple majority, maybe it's okay to be a bit inefficient here. Oh, look at this beautiful, beautiful tile. Are we going to see another comeback? I'm kind of rooting for easttung because I want to see a decider. But Matt is already ahead on the scoreboard. He's threatening another 8-point city, which yellow luckily can easily prevent by going over here. Yes, it's a super, super important. We're in no rush to complete our road as yellow, even though we're technically behind on meeples. Just preventing yellow from completing an easy city and dropping a farmer is the way to go. So from yellow's perspective, the reason I'm actually not a fan of this move is, well, simply because we want to use shielded tiles for unshared, completable cities. This is shared and this is not completable. But the more I think about it, the more I understand yellow's move for 2 reasons. So first of all, there actually wasn't a good platform to start a city. There was this one at the bottom, but it happened to be in eastung's field already, so that's a bit iffy. And then maybe yellow's game plan is to actually not only invade the ruin, but also overrun it. Given the fact that somehow he has this meeple majority, which is of course temporary, because all of eastung's meeples at the time of that move were well placed. Now this guy is kind of waiting to get blocked. So if yellow goes here and then immediately uses another platform to invade one more time, then suddenly he's controlling a 12-point ruin. On the other hand, easttung can very, very easily reinvade. So not now, as he finds a fantastic tile to go over here. and threaten the completion of an 8-point city, threaten the block of Matt's city, and Matt misprioritizes. I think he tries to defend his own city, whereas I think he should be breaking the city of easttung. There are way too many city caps. And also, if yellow gets this guy blocked, it's not such a big deal. Now, if this guy is blocked, this is a much bigger deal for red. And also, yellow would prefer for both of these cities to be blocked rather than for his city to be saved and for this city to be saved, because they're all in easttung's field. Easttung gets a fantastic tile to get 5 points for the road in the scoreboard and completely obliterate yellow's field and get himself some meeples more to play with. Now Mats is struggling because he had pretty much the best tile in the deck available for him to complete the block on the previous move. Now it's not possible for him, so this guy's likely going to survive. This move I actually like, but this move I really think it's misprioritization, and also it was played in a very short amount of time, which is uncharacteristic for the former world champion. He normally takes his time, but this was placed in like 5 seconds. Matt starts a field using his meeple majority. Easttung with a fantastic tile gets himself the first road monastery, 18 points on the scoreboard, a meeple back. And this is how you play against your opponent's field, against your opponent's early farmer. This is also why monasteries are so powerful. Not because they score, I mean they do score a lot, but also because they can control space around them. But some saving grace for yellow. He's almost successfully blocking red's road. Red with a Dorito tile, looking to, I don't even know, do what. Maybe go over here, start a new city cap. I don't think we need to touch that one. Of course, we saw that there are some tiles in the deck with which Matt could theoretically block them, but this was pretty much the last tile of its kind. In fact, there's only one triple city tile remaining, and it happens to be a triple city tile with the road, which Matt is going to use to score anyway. So red starts a new city. Yellow is probably looking to break it, because what else are we going to do? Maybe he's considering breaking the other city, but he really shouldn't. This is way more painful, because of course if red completes this city, he's going to drop another farmer. Although this is true for this city as well. Hi, Nepamai. Yeah, I wonder, Matt is thinking about this for a long time. Is he really wanting to go over here? Well, actually, there could be some reasons for this, because since this square is kind of restricted, it is a bit harder to block this city rather than this city. And so maybe his plan is to first of all use the more restricted of the blocking platforms, then deny this guy another farmer, and then on the next move, if red is not to draw a city cap, then he can go over here. Yeah, this is maybe not such an obvious choice. I still probably prefer going for the bottom here. There's some other options available. We could just blow this game wide open by ignoring both cities and simply going here, dropping a 6-point farmer, getting a monastery for 9 points, going here and overrunning the field with 2 meeples. In fact, I'm pretty sure that this is what Matt wants to do, and he does it! Oh, let's go, we have ourselves a content move. He will be immediately punished by having a city getting completed into his face, or maybe not. This actually looks also pretty good. Blocking your opponent's city is also very good. But maybe Matt is kind of happy about this, because it gives him a bit more time to deal with this threat But first, of course, no. Now we go here. Exactly. We connect the farms. We deny our opponent the opportunity of completing a city and dropping a farmer. And now yellow is only one tile away from securing himself a majority on the field. All yellow needs to do is place anything here. Straight line, cow, monastery, whatever. Simply to deny yellow an easy, red an easy farming platform. Red with a city tile and a tricky choice. Red did start a new city at the bottom whilst also blocking Matt's city, so this city, because it's perfect for a triple Dorito pattern, kind of begs a move like this, and then like this and like this. But then also red doesn't like the fact that his meeple here is vulnerable, so he could consider going over here, then hoping to get a city cap and a farmer a little bit later like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there are 4 Doritos remaining in the deck, which means that I really want to cover the city up as soon as possible. I really want this to be completable and to turn into a threat as soon as possible. And then this meeple, we're going to deal with this later. Because you know what? Even though it's wonderful to want to go over here and drop a farmer and do the usual Brazilian stuff, it's actually is not the only way how easttung can win. First of all, we need to remember that the player from Hong Kong, I can see some adjectives being suggested in the chat, but I have no confidence if any of them are real. So I guess I'll have to look this up after the stream. Sorry, I have trust issues apparently. Hi, Andres. Although Hong Kongers does sound like it could be, like it could make sense. Anyway, red, the play with the red meeples. He doesn't have to necessarily complete this city like this and drop a farmer. He can just complete it normally, then complete that guy, and then use this platform to equalize the field. There's also another path. If red gets himself a monastery tile, which he should use here in a heartbeat and with happiness, then actually yellow can win this without the field. But I wonder if red even realizes this, because it could be tempting from red's perspective to not go over here and to just hope that he's going to draw the second monastery. In which case, this would be great news for our British fans, because with one more monastery in the deck, oh no! We just witnessed a gigantic mistake, sadly. A mistake of strategic proportions. So I know that it is unpleasant to let your opponent into the field, but this is what he had to do. If he just goes over here and finishes the monastery, like Matt's field is 9 points, it's no big deal. Also, this move does not prevent a farm invasion at all. Yellow can just draw a curve and invade like this. This move, of course, had an additional merit of protecting this square a little bit, which will now pay off, I guess, because he could go here and continue his city at the bottom. Just don't drop a farmer. Don't drop a farmer. Okay, so sadly, the player from Hong Kong is panicking. It seems just like a very nervous move. It could work out because there's still multiple tiles available for invasion. There's still a regular monastery, there's still a road monastery, there's still a couple of vanillas. One vanilla. I mean, it's not that bad. But when he's ahead, he does not need to be taking risks like these. Like, he has so many threats to complete the cities. He could have just gone over here for 9 points and ignored the field entirely and been just super happy. Maybe red is not necessarily realizing how much these cities are going to score upon completion. That's 6 here, that's 8 here, that's 10 here. That's like 24. And Matt, of course, is now smelling blood. He wants to try and first of all obstruct this city. And he wants to start playing against this square. And now a big dilemma for easttung. Does he go over here, complete the city, get himself a meeple back, which is what he wanted? But he decided to... Okay, complete an empty city, defend his city here because there's still 3 Dorito tiles available. That actually makes sense. But my concern is that this square is now vulnerable and it can allow Matt to just do something like this. And hope to win a coin flip for a road monastery tile. Or he can go here with a farmer or not. Or here, of course, it makes way more sense trying to block this guy, successfully blocking this guy. Red successfully invades the field, but Matt will, of course, re-invade quite easily. He's going to go here, he's going to get himself his 9 points, and then he's going to use his last meeple to go over here and drop a farmer. But easttung gets himself a meeple back and 6 points on the scoreboard. There's equality on the field. Matt with a curve. And now he needs to decide, is this time to just get himself a meeple back and complete the monastery? Or maybe we need to take a stronghold on the fields first. And I won't be surprised if the world champion is first of all going to go here, drop a farmer, take advantage of that farming platform, and only then try to complete his monastery later. It all depends on the tiles remaining in the deck. He decides to first get himself a meeple back. Let's see if this is justified. easttung with a curve, and now easttung can go over here, drop a farmer. This is why I probably would have preferred as Matt to have dropped a farmer myself. There's still 2 Dorito tiles that fit into the square. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's still 1 straight line available, so going over here allows some excellent invasion chances. But what if Red panics? What if Red goes here, and then Matt draws a crossroads and takes 4 points and cuts off a red farmer? Red is also 12 points ahead on the scoreboard anyway. And I think Red can still win without the field. Because, mind you, this guy has not connected to the field on the right, which Matt may have forgotten. Red gets himself a farmer, which is why Yellow must be kicking himself about that move earlier. But there are some good moves available. First of all, we can just take 4 points and hope to reinvade the field later. There are still plenty of options. We could grab ourselves a crossroads, get a ninja farmer, invade like this. But I wonder if it's time to do something crazier, like going over here with a farmer, trying to block this square and also prepare an invasion like this. Yeah, very difficult position. It seemed to me that Yellow really needed to get that guy on the field. Because this farmer is just incredibly difficult to deal with. I mean, what does Yellow even do? Draw a crossroads and then a blocking tile? Maybe like that? Oh, Glovier is very accurate. Another victim of the "oh no, I can't lose the field" syndrome. Yeah, I think that we saw one really big game thrown by Gatlux of France against someone you know last week in Group B. That's actually really instructive. So I recommend that you all watch that. Matt drops a farmer. No, he does not. He simply tries to get himself a blocking tile, and now it's a very interesting idea for easttung. What does he do? Does he finish a city? Yes, he does. Or does he invade the field? He prioritizes the city. 10 points on the scoreboard, 23 extra. Matt with a curve, looking to presumably invade the field somehow, either by going over here and going for a ninja farmer, which at this point could be justified, or maybe going over here and trying to reinvade this red guy upon the invasion himself. Wise Maze is saying that a tied field does not work for Matt, which makes sense given the scoreboard. Also, I need to remind you that there's this issue. He still needs to connect to the city. easttung, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Still one curve remaining. So this blocking idea doesn't work, but red can happily connect to the main field. And what does yellow even do after? I guess yellow can still invade and then try and invade again. There are just not enough tiles to accomplish anything. Yeah, because look at this. Matt needs invasion here, and then 2 more tiles to get a 4th meeple onto the field. And this is simply not enough time. An invasion complete by the player from Hong Kong, but unnecessary farmer if you ask me. I mean, of course, it's super flashy, I'll give you that. Now Matt probably looking to invade the field first, then just hope that easttung does not draw a curvy tile, even though there's 2 of those remaining. And then Matt can even maybe say goodbye to the city idea and just try to play for the field again. Oh, there's another fun move. How about we go here and we drop a farmer? So look, the idea is, okay, fine. It's a good move, but my move was more fun, okay? So this here would both block red and threaten the invasion to a field through a crossroads. Now, of course, we know that crossroads. Anyway, yeah, whatever. And Matt is now in an impossible position because there are still 2 curvy tiles available. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's a regular curve, and there's a 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's a Dorito tile. So in fact, Matt cannot possibly hope to draw both. So he needs to spend a move on going here and blocking this farmer. And then probably just invading the city with a Dorito tile, something like this. The remaining tiles are regular. Yeah, sure, but why? But why? Given the fact that there are only 7 seconds on Matt's clock, I think we've witnessed a miscount. Matt even gonna lose the field. Well, isn't that fun? easttung is gonna win by +50. What a game. You can I can really feel the nerves from both players, even from Matt, who is normally pretty stoic, or at least comes across as such. So, red taking some unnecessary risk, fighting for the farmer, but of course it's the content move, so that's all lovely. A bit extravagant over here. Matt had some chances, got himself the 9 points for the monasteries just at the last moment. It seems to me that one crucial mistake from the world champion, so this game was still winnable. If only he were to postpone the completion of his monastery, if only he were to realize how important this invasion platform is. He could have gone over here, dropped a farmer, and then completed his monastery later. And then yellow would have struggled to get a farmer of his own. And then red would have struggled to get a farmer on his own. But instead, this. All the content moves from the Hong Konger result into a win +50. And if this game were not streamed, then I think many players who like to study games and look through games of famous players, they would have just not even clicked on this one because it looked like, oh, 50 points. Well, then this must be just one side getting super lucky. But this was actually incredibly close until the end because this field is a huge swing. So imagine 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? At 18 points. So red scored 18 and yellow didn't. If it were the other way around, it's a 36-point swing. Plus maybe this gets blocked, plus maybe this invasion is complete. So many possible things that could happen. I also want to draw your attention to red's excellent play against yellow's field. managing to get away with 2 monasteries whilst this guy was embarked for 6 points. This wasn't a bad farmer necessarily, but I've seen if Matt has one weakness, and he doesn't have many, it's sometimes being a bit liberal with dropping early farmers. In fact, he even became the subject of one of my move of the week video on the receiving end in his 2023 World Team Carcassonne Online Championship encounter against Estronce of Spain. A fun game which you have to watch, absolutely. So go watch that move of the week video series. Most of the time, his early farmers end up working out. He somehow develops those fields. And you saw his field play in the first game. It's just in this game, it went much, much, much harder for the Brits. But he now has the starting player advantage. He gets himself a road and a city. Easttung, of course, the first on the scoreboard. Whoa, and now a bit of a content move and a mistake. But let's call it a content move. So to be honest, this is the first move that jumped to mind. But it is incredibly high variance, as it was simply more calm and more risk-free to just use this move to invade Matt's city, and that's it. It is, of course, super enticing to get yourself a 4-point road and try and put some pressure on this square, and it kind of works, as I think Yellow makes the mistake of his own. Yeah, because you know what? Yellow expected an invasion, so he didn't even think how to react to this move, and my first instinct was to do the same thing as Matt did. But actually, from Yellow's perspective, it was much better to go over here and start another city and start pressuring this road. Much, much, much better. It is like way, way more flexible here. The city is hard to invade, and now 2 meeples are going to be restricted severely. So the early unorthodox move by easttung ends up working like a charm. And this reminds me, because you know how chess is played at the top level. Because of computers, as because of opening preparation, like people prepare with computers and they know all the perfect moves for like the first 20 moves of the game. So the way top players play, they all know openings very well, and they know that the other players know openings. So what they do, they try to make a move which is slightly subpar, which is slightly less than optimal. It's still decent, but less than optimal. And then they hope that their opponent simply doesn't know how to play that position. And this is typically how professional players of chess win against each other. And we're witnessing something like this in Carcassonne. An unorthodox, yet reasonable, opening move from the Hong Konger makes it so that Matt did not find the best response. But of course, the game is not over. The advantage still is for red on the scoreboard, 2 points, and this is a precarious situation, but there are still 3 tiles that fit into this square. And it's actually not easy to block that meeple fully because of these 2 road pieces that are protruding towards the left. The only way how red can create a blocking platform to fully block this square is by finding himself a road tile. So city plus field tiles don't go here. And this could give Matt a lot of time to just simply draw one of the 3 starting tiles. So easttung will need to follow up, but not now, as he has a city to invade up top. Instead of slight misprioritization, he continues his own city at the bottom, which looks not bad. But the reason why I preferred the invasion of yellow city at the top was to protect his own road. Because you see, what could happen? There are 2 possible scenarios. Either red invades yellow, and then yellow invades red, and then all meeples are tied. This favors red, not only because red has the temporary meeple majority, and then the more meeples are tied into shared features, the better, but also because if Matt is to finish a city at the top for 6 points, this would make this road a bit more vulnerable and expose this square a little bit. easttung is now really trying to play against Matt's meeples, sacrificing a really, really juicy tile for a shot of blocking. This, of course, is a mistake, because it just doesn't work often enough. It was much, much better to use the shielded tile for his own scoring on the left. But this could work out, as Matt does not manage to get himself a scoring tile or a city cap. And Red could have enough time to invade this. An incredibly interesting game. Red gets himself a meeple back. Matt gets himself a meeple back too. Note this lovely 4-point road. It's actually super, super smart. If we have time, I'm going to address that later. 4 points for yellow. Gets himself on the scoreboard. Easttung with a city cap tile. So one of the 3 key tiles that fit into this square. The British fans must hate seeing this. But what do we do? I love this extremely aggressive move. He does not finish either of his cities, but instead he starts a 3rd city and also starts putting blocking pressure on yet another yellow meeple, being precise with the dagger asymmetry, noticing that one of these daggers has gone out. So if he manages to place something over here, he will make sure that only 2 tiles fit into this square. Yellow really struggling with meeples here. Probably looking to start some sort of a counter blocking move below. In the meantime, yellow is getting restricted here. There are still 2 tiles that fit into this square. There are still 2 tiles that fit into this square. So yellow is still a favorite to finish both of these cities. But what easttung can do at some point is go over here, finish a city, and create a platform to block the square fully. And it's something that Matt will need to deal with. But he now has a fantastic tile to respond to easttung scoring. This is absolutely the move where you spend a meeple on a monastery. It controls 2 of Red City. It's about as good as monasteries can get. Straight line for easttung. Probably now looking to go over here and try to block that square completely, but a very smart move instead. He goes and he tries and block yet another city, and now all 3 Matt cities need the city plus road tile, but he gets one of them. He gets this starting tile and a lead on the scoreboard. 16 versus 10, 6 extra points, and all of his meeples are still alive and well. easttung is going to complete a city off his own for 8 points at the bottom, which I have no doubt. And I want to address a move earlier made by Matt. This curve here is absolutely brilliant. It is a protection move. It makes sure that easttung cannot build a 4 points himself and creates a blocking platform. And if red were to go here earlier on and try and pressure against this square, then suddenly Matt could have done this, finished his road, and defended his city indirectly. But he didn't even have to do this, as he waited patiently enough and got himself the needed tile in time. Finished himself a 4-point road, pre-finished another one. easttung ahead on the scoreboard again, threatening to drop a tile that would block Matt's city permanently. Matt's cities are still restricted, and he does not get a tile to save either of his meeples. Instead, a Dorito tile for yellow. What does he do? Well, this is a reasonable move. Starting a new city next to his monastery, maybe putting a bit of pressure on this square. He could consider going over here and invading that city, which would improve the quality of this monastery square as well. But it's a bit of an awkward tile to be placing, because no matter where you choose, there are going to be downsides to this move. There's a third move which I really, really like. And this is ignoring this at all, and then just going here. Why here? Well, the thing is, if red goes over here, which he's gonna, and block our meeple, then suddenly we can get a Dorito tile and build a city like this, whilst also blocking red's meeple in the response. So sometimes instead of your meeple defense, you could do counter blocking instead, and it works like a charm. Matt decides to start a new city, a move which makes perfect sense. The quality of this monastery is a bit iffy, but if Matt can just get another field Dorito tile, he will consolidate nicely. Does he get it? No. He gets a starting tile, and of course he will not waste it on defending this meeple. He is going to get himself another 10-point meeple and just sacrifice this guy. 5 extra points for the world champion. Easttung now has a chance to get himself a long-term meeple majority by blocking this yellow guy, and he should absolutely do that, and he does it. Matt with a meeple minority, but the majority on the scoreboard. Looking to find something interesting with a straight line. Not the worst idea is going over it here, restricting the city a little bit, and maybe even dropping a farmer, anticipating a bigger field like this. Many city caps still in the deck, particularly city plus field caps. So there could be a bunch of like 6-9 point fields toward the end of the game, and this is where Red's meeple advantage is going to be felt. Matt decides to not go for the farmer just yet. To my greatest surprise, maybe feels a little bit burnt from last game. Here actually dropping a farmer was not really risky at all. But yellow decides that he wants to save his meeple for some better times. These better times being monastery draws. And look at this interesting move by easttung. He's trying to block Matt's monastery, or at the very least, kill off the monastery spot. Even if yellow gets a tile that fits into the square, at the very least, yellow will be able to avoid monastery stacking. But in response, yellow just doesn't take care about this square at all. He's trying to put pressure against this red meeple, given the fact that all 4 starting tiles have gone out, and he's gonna succeed. Or is he gonna succeed? That's a question. What will he prioritize? Last game, yellow did make the mistake of prioritizing saving his own meeple instead of blocking his opponent. And this led to him losing his meeple and his opponent not losing. Well, actually, no. But they both lost the meeple. That's interesting. Well, anyway, so the 2 choices are, we go over here, we add a point, and we make it harder for our opponent to block our monastery, or we go over here and we block this guy. Now, the reason why this block is going to work is because this square is already blocked with all 4 starting tiles already on the board, and the only way how Red could get his meeple back is by drawing the last remaining splitter tile, which first of all is not guaranteed to happen, and second, we can still go here, and block this fully. As Matt, I probably prefer the counter block rather than my own defense. There's some other options available. We could go here, maybe start putting pressure on this square. We could even go here, pre-finish our monastery. But there's still a sizable chunk of curves remaining in the deck, so I kind of feel that we may want to protect this at some point. And if we do protect this, and Matt, time and time again, as we see, yeah, this is one of the reasons I didn't want to do this. This was a decent defense. It just so happens that easttung had the last Dorito with the road in his hand, completely blocking this square and 2 meeples of Matt. Now, the Brit finds himself in a position which is so familiar and comfortable to him, which is being 3 meeples down. But rest assured, he'll love this kind of stuff. He's still ahead on the scoreboard. This ruin will grow to like 8 points. This monastery is going to be 8 points. So yellow's still in a decent position. And now an interesting decision. So as yellow, do you go here and expand your ruin and put pressure on this square and try to block at least 1 meeple of red in return? Or do you go here? And the more I think about it, the less sense this move makes. Because if we go over here, then since we're pressuring 2 meeples of our opponent, we can quite easily block 1 of them, and then our position is great. Easttung gets himself one meeple back. There are now one dagger of each kind remaining. 1 point extra for Matt on the scoreboard still. And he has a monastery, which I think he needs to summon the courage and use it over here. It's actually exceptionally hard to block. He could use it as a patch of green, but I hate that. The reason why it's super hard to block is because we're really short on city plus road tiles. And very often, if you have blocked meeples, then it's kind of difficult to explain, but sometimes the remedy against blocked meeples is to get yourself more blocked meeples. Because blocked meeples score, your opponent's going to spend even more tiles, dig themselves into a bigger hole on the scoreboard, and then the game and approaches and approaches and approaches. So Matt does go for a monastery, I was going to say, but he doesn't. A bit of underwhelming move here from the world champion. Not that there's anything wrong with it. Okay, come on, now. Just do it, just do it. 5 points, like how hard can it be? It's of course super counterintuitive, and you can get blocked in one move. But there's so many scenarios how this works wonderfully. He could have gone here, then he could have gone here, then we have curve, a straight line, another monastery, we drop a 6-point farmer, we win with 30 points. Like, the Japanese player with the screen name Rabbit Rain would have done this. I know, like, it's not necessarily a mistake to not want to be blocked in one move. Like, there's still a couple of tiles, such as maybe the one remaining horse, that go into the square and block your monastery in one move. Yeah, Matt really doesn't want to meeple the monasteries. Okay, we see a 6-point farmer, which makes all the sense in the world. Also, only 2 seconds were remaining on the clock. I know that Matt loves taking his time, but that was a bit extra. We were 2 seconds away from probably the most anticlimactic match ending in the history of the Carcassonne Champions League. Matt finishes his ruin, continues his ruin rather. It is already scoring 8 points. Easttung needs to put his meeple advantage to good use. He's trying to start a new city and put pressure on Matt's road. Matt develops his own field on the right, tries to keep the game really small ball. Easttung with a city cap. Probably looking to finish his city. Or maybe there's something stronger. Is it crazy? Yes. Loving this move here from the Hong Konger. He's dropping a 6-point farmer. And it's not just a 6-point farmer. Oh, this is such a beautiful find. So check this out. First of all, 6 points, lovely. Dropping a city cap in his field, lovely. Second, he's threatening to permanently block Matt's meeple, lovely. He's probably going to succeed. But even if he doesn't succeed, even if yellow gets one of the 3 remaining crossroads, he's going to go over here, get his road meeple back, and as a consequence, expand red's field to just massive proportions. Red successfully blocks Matt's road. Just needs to meeple the city cap. We don't leave our opponent easy cities there. And he correctly identifies the best move. But Matt, with some threats of his own, what the Brit can do, he can now make life quite hard for this farmer. Because all this chunk of field in the center is currently unclaimed. So this farmer is suffering a little bit as the side effect of the roadblock. This farmer has not yet connected to this field over here. I think a bit of a miss from yellow. He simply tries to keep the game very small. He's trying to prevent from all the field being unified. I think missing this idea potentially because it allows red quite an easy scoring move. Will Matt block the field now, or will he go here for a farmer of his own? Is it time to go full Brazilian mode with the meeple minority There are only 15 tiles remaining, and if he can just find some good geometric ideas, there's a way how he can swindle field parity or even field majority. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are no straight lines remaining, which means that this square is blocked, so an invasion here is not possible for either party. A move that I'm thinking for Matt is going over here and dropping a farmer and putting pressure on these meeples. But it is not obvious as to which orientation we choose. If we go here, okay, so he chooses this move without a farmer. Okay, like not dropping a farmer here has to be a mistake. No, it has to be not a mistake. You know what is a mistake? Is the commentator's board vision. Because easttung, of course, is now going to go here. He's going to expand his 6th field from 9 points. But this part of the field, of course, is never going to be part of that field. It still could be a potentially good farmer. Because if these cities get completed, this field is going to be worth 9 points. But yellow decides that maybe there is a way, and yes, there is, to prevent both of these cities from being completed. But does he see it with 1 minute and 30 seconds remaining on the clock? A permanent block is available. There are no horses, and there are no rose Doritos available. So if yellow just goes over here, he'll block 2 of red meeples permanently at the same time. But how can you possibly miss this, Matt? How can you possibly miss this? But there's still city caps. And easttung is going to get away with an 8-point city. That's a game-losing mistake for Matt, but he doesn't seem to care. What are these moves? What are these moves? Both players are actively trying to lose here. Why? Like, okay, from Red's perspective, I cannot understand. He's like just on another level. Why can't you just continue your own city? There are still city caps. You could get 8 points. You could win the game that way. Oh dear, the nerves. It must be the nerves. In fact, when I played against easttung myself in round 3, I noticed that he played really well the first 2/3 of the game and actually had a game decisive advantage, so he should really have won the second game in our match. But then apparently nerves just led to some mistakes, some time management issues, and then I was able to swindle that out with like 5 points or something. So I wonder if this is an issue that needs to be addressed perhaps on a team level, because I know there were some other teams that were struggling with this, just knowing your Carcassonne stuff, but when it comes to actually delivering, just getting jitters. And I know that many a great player has suffered from that. Matt now, of course, is dropping a lovely farmer for himself. easttung still has a chance to finish one of his cities. There are no road Doritos, but there's still a field Dorito available. So he goes over here, for example, or over here for that matter. He can still get away with 10 points. Chris Tucker is saying that Matt was unfortunate not to finish that road with a curve. Well, there actually, at that point, there were so few curves remaining that you could expect something like this. Okay, so now red saves his meeple. He sacrifices this guy, but there's a 50-50 chance of the city getting completed. Or rather more than this, because there's also a road Dorito, or a regular Dorito is not the only tile that goes there. There's also the triple city plus city cap pattern, and there's still a couple of city caps remaining if I'm not mistaken. At the very least, there's one vanilla. There are no starting tiles. There is a butterfly still. Man just takes 2 points for a road. And easttung now gets a road monastery for 8 points. And even a chance to get a meeple back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's one curve remaining. But will he go for it, or are we going to see some more issues with nerves? Imagine he goes here and tries to fight for Matt's field. I think this is what's happening. I think he's going to go here. Okay, that's an even better move. It's 6 points. It's 7 points, and it adds one more city to Red's field. But Matt, with a crucial draw, gets himself the last Dorito tile that Red needed to finish his city. Can Yellow still win this? It's actually a really close game, so let's see. These monasteries cancel each other out. These two farmers cancel each other out. Yellow has the ruin, but easttung has one more meeple and the bigger field than Matt. It's going to be close. Okay, now I expect a field invasion. The player from Hong Kong has shown that he prioritizes the field a lot. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes, just double checking that there's in fact still one curve remaining. If we go over here for 3 points, we're threatening to draw a curve to go over here and equalize Matt's city, Matt's field for 9 points. If we are unsuccessful, then there's still a couple of city caps to go here and score a 4-pointer. This could be what's running through Red's mind at the moment. He's with the last vanilla city cap. There are only 2 city cap tiles remaining, if I'm not mistaken, the umbrella and the vertical splitter. Wait, are there any daggers? There might be daggers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, no daggers, no daggers. A crucial tile for Matt is this guy, because if he gets himself a double city cap, he gets to go over here and score 4 points for the city and 3 for this field. easttung decides to start a new city in his field, which makes sense with 2 city caps still remaining. Matt with a curve, and not an easy decision. Pretty much no productive moves available with just 1 meeple to play with. Maybe going over here and trying to block Red City before he gets one of his 2 city caps. Maybe we will need to see Matt invade the main field somehow. The main field is 12 points. It is a lot. Is there even a way for Yellow to come back if Red finishes his city? I don't know. I'm not sure which field invasion with the curve you're talking about. Maybe referring to some previous move which was no longer possible. I don't see any field moves for Matt here. He can set up an invasion platform, but nothing more than this. So his move is definitely going to be on this square. It's really not obvious how you orientate this tile, though. He goes for a 5-point road. He's trying to draw this tile over here. He's trying to draw a rodent. He's trying to draw himself a butterfly tile. That's his plan. easttung with a 6-point monastery, looking to go over here, but maybe he doesn't want to do this. Maybe he doesn't want to give away this square. Still 2 city caps for easttung and a 60% chance to draw at least one of them. Matt, with the starting player advantage, will get the better probabilities towards the end. Also note that there's a cow tile available which Matt can use to block this guy if he so chooses. No time to catch up on the chat. I'm going to read it a little bit later. So he goes for the 6-point monastery. Matt, with the tile, instant pull, gets himself a meeple back. And he will still be able to spend. But easttung with the other city cap should win this. It's an 8-point move. And the best that Matt can do is probably score this 6-point ruin. There are no more city caps available. Wait! There's a field connection platform now. But are there even field tiles? That's the question. And yes, there are. I can see the crossroads. So we go over here. We play 50-50 for the crossroads. Sounds like a plan. What is the other tile, though? So no curves, no straight lines, right? No daggers. So no more road tiles. And no Doritos. No monasteries of any kind. What are we missing? So, rule of tile counting. If you can't think which tile you're missing, that's an extender. There's one of these guys in the deck. So, the last remaining 2 tiles are extender and a crossroads. And then there are 2 possible options. Matt can either go over here for a 50-50 farmer, try and connect to get himself 15 points. And it seems to me that he's something that he has to do. Or he can go over here and take 6 points, hoping to get an extender and get himself a larger. And he goes for the farmer and he succeeds. easttung is going to, of course, take a 6-point ruin, but Matt will take the swindle and invade the field with 2 seconds remaining on his clock again. Will this be enough to overcome the 2 monasteries? And I think it will be. Matt has the extra scoreboard stuff. His meeples here score. His 9-point field equals his opponent's field. And he has these 2 big features to equalize the 2 features of easttung. 6-point city, crossroads for Matt, field invasion, and a win with something like 4 or 5 points is what has happened, if I'm not mistaken. Or like 2 points or something. Because this 6-point ruin is quite a lot. I'm not going to look at the chat in case you're spoiling that for me. Six-point ruin is being counted. Still 2 monasteries to add up. Matt is going to have 3 points extra on the farms due to this farm on the left. And this is going to make all the difference in the world. As this 3-point farmer will take Matt to a guaranteed 2nd place in Group C with 4 wins and 5 matches. easttung is saying that they're exhausted, and justifiably so, but this was one of the closest and one of the most interesting matches I've seen in a long time. Definitely a lot of content moves, a lot of nerves, and a lot of mistakes towards the end. Matt not finding his blocking move, easttung not finding the chance to finish his 8-point city on the left, ending up with the 50-50 chance that he does not pull, and at the end, of course, like every good game of Carcassonne, decided by a classic 50-50 coin flip. Oh, I hardly could have wished for a better match than this. I hope this was worth your subscription. Do make sure to click the bell notification icon if you intend to see more competitive content like this. If you liked anything about this match, make sure to indicate this by meepling the respective button. But we're not leaving just yet. We will, of course, read the chat. Matt is asking, can you still progress? Let's actually check that. So easttung has still 2 victories. And this is their tiebreaker. It's important that they didn't lose 2-0. They lost 1-2. So what needs to happen? So if Brian Townsend wins his next game, his next match, then he qualifies. And if Brian Townsend loses, then easttung qualifies. So basically the entirety of Hong Kong should be just rooting against Chile. That's all what it is. Koki Yamaguchi cannot qualify, as taken care of on Tuesday by yours truly. And Meister 3-5 cannot qualify due to their low tiebreaker. Or can they? Let's actually let's take a look at this. It's interesting. So, oh, wait. Meister is playing HT Bry. And because we know that a Chilean win is unacceptable for easttung, he'll be rooting for HT Bry. But what if Meister wins? And what if Meister wins 2-0? Then suddenly, his tiebreaker is going to be 5 games won, 7 games lost. Same as what easttung has now. And it will all come down to the mutual encounter between the Colombian and the Hong Konger. But how did it go? They have already played and easttung has won, which means that in the event Meister wins against HT Bry, easttung is going to qualify because they defeated Meister earlier, a couple of weeks ago. So this means that it's as simple as this. If the Chilean wins against the Colombian, the Chilean qualifies. If he loses, then easttung qualifies. We will make sure to do our best efforts to catch that stream on time and stream it, of course. All right, now it's time to catch up with the chat. Maybe first updating the scoreboard, as it was way too exciting. Matt 2, easttung 1. Alrighty. I can see British fans rejoicing. Oh yes, there was a way to invade the main field a little bit earlier, but anyway, this moment has gone now. In any case, so hopefully... Aha, we can see Chilean fans in the chat. Hi, Edgar. Understandably rooting for Matt here. Yeah, so now everything is in Brian's hands. If HT Bry wins, then he qualifies, and there's nothing that easttung can do about that. Wait, Matt is saying if Meister wins, it's a 3-way tie. Oh, no, it wouldn't be, yeah. And no. The tournament position, like, no need to complicate this. It's actually pretty simple, which is not the case in many other groups. So we're going to be wrapping this up in a second. As usual, we just need to check the schedule for upcoming matches. There's really nothing more today. Tomorrow I endeavor to stream at least one of these two. Oh wait, this is not even tomorrow. Yeah, so Vivian Charlot against Seung Yu Chin, with important playoff implications as well. Both of these players have surprisingly low chances of qualifying despite their very high Carcassonne ratings and abilities. So this is what we're watching tomorrow, and today a bit of a rest. So now time to go back to editing the second part of the Mind Sports Olympiad recap video. We can also check here for potentially more updates. Oh, wait a second. So this is super fun. Kaika versus Crocodile Fundy. That's Malaysia versus the United States. That's simply a battle for the playoff spot. Very straightforward. Who wins qualifies. The time is a little bit iffy though, so y'all might want to watch that on your own, or maybe sleep instead if you're in Europe. But it should be an exciting match. Actually, you know what? Yeah, I'm definitely not streaming this because on the 9th is the Mind Sports Olympiad Grand Prix Azul tournament, and it's quite important to get a good rest before that. But there's still plenty of exciting matches, so Viv against Self-Evident tomorrow, and I will see you then. That's it. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'm gonna see you soon.